This is a part 1 detailed video for the lot management tools of LotSoft software. Once you've contacted sales, sales can issue you a temporary logon so you can go in and start to play with some of the features of LotSoft. So once you click go, you'll be presented with the Lot and Web Content Management Control Center. And since we're going to go over just a lot management stuff, we'll just collapse that. And so the first thing obviously you would need to do is create your homeowners association. As you can see here, there's the association name, and as you'll see little pop-ups to kind of tell you what needs to be entered in these fields. And here is when your HOA was formed. And one thing to note here is once you make that put this date in for the first time, that you would have to contact LotSoftX support in order to change that. Mailing address, what is your annual due fees, what is your late due fees, and if there's any lien fees and a cost to that. And of course those are all optional, and we'll see later how that comes into play. And then here's your primary email address for your association. And here is an email address that you can put in that if you use the batch email system where any failed emails will land. And so that way you can sort of separate the two. And what is the local police department's reference of the BlockWatch program? So if you were to create that for the first time, you would hit save and you would immediately have your HOA appear at the bottom. And of course there can only be one HOA, and in this case we've already created our Greengrass Estates. If we needed to do an update, we could click update and we can see we're in update mode. And then anything we need to change other than the date as to when it was formed, we of course can change, like your dues. That might be something that would need to change. So let's just show you how quickly that occurs. Let's just make that an X, hit save, and boy, we can see how quickly that happens. We can come back here, delete, save, and now we're back again. So it happens very, very quickly. So this of course would be the first thing that would have to be done, is to create the organization or the association. It can be done very easily, and then of course updated very easily. The thing that's going to be interesting that you'll find out is these fields all can be used and populated into the website dynamically, and you'll see how that occurs once we get into the web management portion of LotSoftX. So we just wanted to note that these fields will be able to be accessible dynamically into the website. So now let's go back to the control center, and of course something that you have to do is add the streets that are in your HOA. Very easily, just enter the street name, hit save, and it will add those. And as you can see, we've already, for test purposes, have some here. It will automatically uppercase all of the street names. The next thing is to add events, and a lot of these events are added by default. Anything that has to do with accounting, as we can see, there's quite a few here. And what is the account adjustment? Is it a debit or is it a credit? Other than those, you could create any of your event names that you want. Here we have an event called emailed, a general event, a letter event, a notice, or a status change. And of course, as you can see, none of those are accounting events. Therefore, there's no account adjustment that's made there. So again, these are all anything that's related to financials that's automatically entered by default, but any others can be added by the HOA. The next thing is to add the positions of your HOA, and here we have a president, secretary, treasurer, and vice president. And you can, if there's other positions within your HOA, of course, this is where you would add those. Again, it's going to uppercase any position name that you place. The next is to add areas, and this is pertaining to your block watch program. If you look down here, we've got an area called football lane, and we sort of describe that area. And this becomes very important later on, as you can see, where you assign individuals captains to these areas. So you would define a block watch area name and then give a description, which would be the areas that fall under that block watch area. So we'll head back to the control center and then create batch emails. Very interesting feature of LotSoftX. It automatically tells you how many lots that you have in your HOA once they've been added, how many lots have emails and how many do not. In this case, all our lots have emails, and then it shows you the email address that would be used and where all the failed emails will go to. In this case, we both just have those going to the demo. And you can quickly run a report, which is kind of nifty, and it shows you lot owners without emails and then the ones with emails, and you can see, of course, all of the email addresses are the same, their lot and who's the owner. And you can also see some information like here's rental, section 8, if they're delinquent, have liens, whether or not they're up for sale, and if it's in foreclosure. And so it can give you some of that information is quick, and then of course again total number of lots. So quick little report there. So what is this little feature for? Well, if you wanted to send out an email to all lot owners who have registered properties with emails, then you would create a description of that job. And here, this little box, if you checked it, it would actually add an event to each lot that received an email. So then it would know when you go to look at that lot that an email had been sent out about possibly a meeting coming up or whatever you wanted to do. The other nice thing is, as you can see, you've got access to rich text tools. The font size, or fonts and the size, bold, italics and underline, and color, and so forth and so on. We will go into more detail once we get into the web content management portion. And once you save that, what will happen is it will actually create a job down here, and it will give you a description of that, the job description, and show you what the text of the email is. And what's interesting is you can see how many emails are being sent out because it does it in batch, meaning that if there were 200 lots, it's only going to send out 25 emails at a time. Then there'll be a pause, and then it'll send out the next 25, so you can quickly come back here and see what's the status. Now, if there happened to be a problem, you would be offered an option here to actually kill the creation of those emails, and a little button would pop up and allow you to actually kill that. So here's how you would manage and be able to see the progress of that batch email. Okay, so that's part one of the lot management.